Okay, well that I can. I'm recording it now, so that
You recording?
I do have a recording out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's recording for me now.
All right.
I can do that and just send it to you.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. So, you ready?
Yep. Let me chalkboard.
Tell me whenever you record, and we'll go.
Okay. All right. Got a recording.
All right. All right. We're here with Coach Joe Daniels. Coach has 17 seasons of coaching experience, including role as head coach, offensive coordinator, and a defensive coordinator. Coach Daniels is also the host of the Football Coaching Podcast and JDFB Quick Clinics podcast with over 600 episodes published since 2012. Is that right, Coach?
Yep.
He's also founded what's become the JDFB coaching system, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, in 2009. He's worked with over thousands of football coaches in every state and all over the world through the program like 425 defensive system. We're very excited to have Coach on today, sharing his wealth of football knowledge with us. And he'll be talking about, I guess, defending the spread out of the 425 or whatever he wants to talk about, really. We're here to learn, Coach. So take it away whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So basically, our 425 defense. And I guess I should mention that for anybody who's not familiar with the way that I do things, the way that we do things, JDFB coaching systems. A lot of people will ask me if I'm a 425 guy or a 4-3 guy. Originally, back in 2009, when I started what was originally footballdefense.com, I was mainly focused on the Miami 4-3 defense. But some people still associate me as the 4-3 guy. Some people associate me as a 425 guy. If you came in at a certain point in the podcast when I was focused on, we do seasons. So I was focused on 3-3 or 3-4. Some people may think I'm a nod front guy. Really, all of our coaching system, all of my defensive structure is we just rename, we just move some guys around and it's still the same defense. So what really matters, when we talk about whether it's 4-2-5, 3-4, 33 stack, 4-3, 4-3 is a little bit different, but what really matters is our core foundation, our core principles. So I don't really care about 4-2-5 or 3-3 or 3-4. To me, it's moving guys a foot to the left and a foot to the right. And that doesn't change the defense to me. So when we're talking about, same thing when we're talking about defending the spread versus defending a double wing. Well, double wing's a bad example. Wing T. We have a core set of rules, a core set of principles that the defense is built on, and whatever front we're in and whatever offense you're running, those are really irrelevant. That what it comes down to is the core, and so I think that's really the most important thing with the defense. That's where I kind of put my focus really after about really the last 5 years has been on developing this this basic foundation of principles and philosophy. And we have an overall core philosophy, which is coach simple, play fast, win. And if anybody's listened to the podcast, you've heard me say that 1,000 times. Coach simple, play fast, win. Coach simple philosophy. And everything builds out of that. So everything that we talk, again, whatever front, whatever offense we're defending, whatever offense we're running, it's all that coach simple idea. So the way that breaks down and the way that everything starts is we keep things simple so that we can teach it. So that you can teach your players to understand exactly what they need to do, exactly what their role is in the defense, exactly how they need to perform in that defense. If you can teach it to your players, give your players show your players your belief in that system, whatever it may be, doesn't have to be 4-2-5. Show your players your belief in that system. Your players buy into it. They have confidence. They know how to do their job. They know what to do. They know what their role is because you've kept it simple enough and been a good teacher, kept it simple enough to be a good teacher and for them to learn it so that they have confidence in what they're doing. Confident players play faster. So a lot of coaches will come and tell you, my big problem, coach, is our kids are too slow, or they're too soft, they're scared, they're too dumb, whatever it is. And my answer to that is always, you have control of that. You have control of that, because if you establish confidence in your kid, confident players play faster. They fly around. They know where to go. They get there in a hurry. When guys are flying around, I'm not into being mean and violent and all that sort of stuff. I think that that's a product of being confident. So if a kid knows where to go and he goes there in a hurry, that looks aggressive. That looks violent. That creates what you want. And you don't have to be out there and get him to, growl when he hits the pads. You just have to get him to be confident. You have to get him to believe in himself. And of course, if you get 11 guys, 22, both sides of the ball, special teams too, if you get more guys playing faster, you win more games. So it's coach simple, play fast, win. You keep it simple so your kids understand. They play with confidence. They play faster. Faster players win more games. That's really the core philosophy of everything that we do. And the 4-2-5 is probably, among the systems that we use, would be the simplest. It would be the one that, if I talk to a coach who says, Coach, look, I don't care about, what the front is. You tell me. I'm coaching youth, or I'm a first year coach, or I'm, whatever it is, or we just need to strip it down to the bare bones, and then we can build it back up. What do you think I should run? And I'll always say 4-2-5, because that's, from what we do, the simplest. From that, a lot of coaches make the mistake of thinking, well, it's just a 4-4 cover 3. And it can be. It absolutely can just be a 4-4 cover 3. But if we're talking about defending the spread, it's probably not. Some coaches do, but it's probably not. We're when we say coach simple, keep it simple, that means keep it as simple as you need to. So if I'm working with a Division III, a Division II college, if I'm working with a JUCO, or if I'm working with a high level high school in a big urban area, we're not talking about cover 3, most likely. We teach cover 3, we teach cover 1, we teach split field, the full split field TCU package, but simplified down. We used to run the whole package and really just kind of shaved it down, reduced some of the teaching. So if you're in a place where you see a lot of spread, then you're probably looking at something like a 4-2-5 with split field coverage. So that's kind of the starting point of Coach Simple. And again, I think coaches here, Coach Simple, and they're like, well, we can't just run a cover 3, or we're not going to run base every snap. We got full blitz package. We've got cover 1, cover 0, cover 3. But really what it's about, out of that system, out of, you want to zone blitz, it's there. You want to run multiple front, it's there. You want to get into all these different things, you can do it. I love the 3-4, what we call our stud front, kind of developed specifically for zone read teams, power read teams. That's just our 4-2-5 with guys slid over a half man and changing out the strong end. I can't make this timer stop going. So, you can get as complicated as you want. Your job as a coach is to figure out, okay, what exactly is simple enough for us? So if I'm in an area, and the first thing you got to decide is, who do I need to beat? In my last job, we played the 4 toughest teams on our schedule, I would say, were 3 wing tees and a double wing. Mm-hmm. There was no reason for us to put in split field coverage, because we needed to beat. We were good enough to line up in anything and beat some of those other teams. We needed to beat 3 wing tees and a double wing. We beat the double wing and one of the wing tees, and almost got the wing tees, the other 2, but we kept it close. So what you have to look at as a coach is, okay, what do I have to do? First of all, what do I believe in? Because you can't just run a 4-2-5 because I say it's a really good defense or somebody else tells you. You got to believe in it. Right. Part of my job is to sell it to you, is to get you to believe in it, to show you that it works, or whatever front you want to run. to show you how it works, how it fits, how simple it can be. And then your job as a coach is okay, what do I need to win? And if you look at your schedule and you say, okay, I've got 2 spread options, I got an air raid, 2 air raids, whatever it is, then we go, okay, you got to have a more complex package. You can't just line up and cover 3 as far as your coverage package. Now, when I'm playing a bunch of wing tees, my fronts package may be more complex. I may have more fronts in there. I may have more, I want to line up in 5s and 1s. We've got a whole double wing package that we have to put in. Most of you guys don't have to put in a double wing package. Like you couldn't care less.
We do, and that's why you talking this. And kind of, we're going to see everything in our area from 5 wide to a power spread. We see flex bone, we see double wing, and we see wing tee. So we have to pretty much prepare for all of it throughout the season. And I just found that it's easier because I used to be a 4-3 guy also. So you kind of me and you were speaking the same language. And a lot of stuff I have gotten from you, and kind of put what works for me and what works for the kids that I'm coaching, depending on where I'm at. And so I always felt like it is easier instead of going out from the 4-3 to be able to come from a 4-2-5 and come back in whenever you are playing those type of teams.
Yeah. And to me, one of the things that got me, a lot of coaches will ask why I'm not in a 4-3 anymore, why I'm not a 4-3 guy anymore. And it's very simple. You got to find those 2 high safeties. In a 4-3, the way that we run the 4-3, the Miami 4-3 system, I don't know how some guys do different 4-3s. It's very geared towards quarters coverage. And you've got to have those 2 high safeties who can line up at 9 yards deep and who can get downfield and force the play. And you got to find 2 of them. I can usually find 1. With your 4-3, rolling into a cover 3 is okay, but it's not great. So whereas with the 4-2-5, it's an 8-man front. It's built for cover 1, cover 3. And then the split field package works very, very well against your spread team. So I found that if I cannot find 2 high safeties, that I'm better off in the 4-2-5. And like to your point, once you take the tight end out, there's not a lot of difference between a 4-3 and a 4-2-5.
Right.
Like, most of your alignment is based off of that guy, because you take that C gap out. Now I don't have 2 gap linebackers anymore.
Right.
It solves that problem. So, yeah, I mean, we're all seeing, not all of us, but a lot of us are seeing everything. I think it's funny when I go to a clinic sometimes. I mean, I've seen guys walk out of a clinic because I've seen guys walk out of my clinics or my webinars and stuff, because I'm drawing it up against an I formation. Well, to me, I formation is just a really good starting point. It's a really good starting point for teaching. I'll have guys get up and just walk out. I've seen them in clinics that I'm in. I've seen them in webinars that I'm doing, and they just get up, they just leave and they go, well, nobody runs that anymore. All we see is spread. I'm like, well, I don't know where you coach, but that may be true. If I coach where you are, I'd line up in a double wing tomorrow. Because if you're walking out of clinics because a guy's lined up in the eye, I'm going to do that. So you've got to be able to adjust to everything, and you can't be throwing junk. You can't be throwing, this week the 3-3 is going to be really good for us. It's like, well, you don't run a 3-3.
Right. It's funny that you say it, because I got in 2006 when the spread was really kind of starting to. That's when the evolution kind of started. So everybody kind of ventured in that way, and it's now it seems like it's kind of coming back. You're seeing the flex bones starting to develop a little more. You're seeing that people going back to the wing tees, some double wing, and a lot of guys don't know how to defend it because they never really had to, because they were in the when the spread was blowing up. And so those guys are having success. Split back veer this year. 4 of the 5 state championships, state champions in public school, were some type of clock management offense, whether it be a split back veer, and so on and so forth. So you're starting to see that coming around, and it's given defensive fits because they haven't had to defend on a regular basis lately. So that's kind of what I see starting to evolve. It's it all makes a full circle, I guess.
Yeah. And you're also seeing teams realize that you mentioned ball control. You're seeing teams realize that the just go fast mentality of, that was the old Chip Kelly, hurry up at Oregon was like, we're going to get a snap every 12 seconds or whatever. You see that to me is not effective.
Right.
And I think we even saw in the national championship is not that it worked, but Ohio State did. I mean, it did work, but it didn't work well enough. Ohio State does a lot of changing tempo. That matters. Like, I care if you change tempo. If one play you sit in the huddle and drain the whole clock, and the next play you're at the line ready to go, and the next play you're in a sugar huddle, and you're at the line and out of nowhere, that to me works. Otherwise, I want to get in the huddle because I want to make sure that we get it right. And so you're right. You're seeing, and then you also have seen teams. You've seen double wings go no huddle. We've gone from like the hot thing was hurry up, no huddle, spread, zone read, RPOs, and you see more and more team RPOs still present a problem. To me,
Right.
most of the rest of it doesn't, but RPOs present a problem.
And when you're talking about the double wing and when they start going hurry up, the positive about the double wing is the ability to line up to it. You know that you should be able to do that against a double wing.
Mm-hmm.
But when they start adding in the tempo, fast pace, that becomes an issue, because that is something that one thing defending double wing and more than anybody is that you better be lined up correctly.
Yep. And it's the interesting thing about the double wing is it's completely off of spread at this point. But the interesting thing about the double wing with adding in the hurry up is, that offense will run 16 plays at you, and they've done that. They've run that superpower, that trap 10,000 times. It's nothing to them. They're doing it in their sleep. Right. And your defense is exhausted. And if you can change tempo, if you can, get the guys with their hands on their hips, and then bam, you're at the line running superpower, it's like that sucks. And Absolutely. So double wing is a really interesting, double wing is a really interesting offense, because I think that, number one, it proves that all the fancy stuff doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. You line up, you execute. A lot of double wing teams have one formation, 5 plays, and they kick the snot out of people. But what it does, and what a lot of people don't understand, is it creates an extra gap. And so you've got to adjust. You have to make a defensive adjustment, unless you've just got a stud free safety who can get to both D gaps, and it's tough. It changes things. So yeah, I mean, I think you said 2006, 2007, we played along the same lines. Everybody was going to spread. In 2007, we played 6 or 7. We played 9 33 stack teams or 3-5-3 teams. It was like everybody went to that because everybody was going to spread, and everybody thought you had to be in this to stop that. And it's just not, it's not the case. Now we understand how we can match these things.
Right. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's where you end up seeing, everybody spread you out and air raid type stuff, and you had defenses going to a 3-man front and removing people out of the box. And then you start to see the evolution of the power spread, and then, they're going to boot, and then you're going to get the H-back back in the box, and now I'm one up, and then defenses catch on to that. And then now we're kind of in that in-between stage, and you start seeing, like I said, going back to the old school deep offensive systems like the wing T and the double wing.
Yeah, I think we had an evolution. I think the Malzahn offense was a big piece of that evolution, was that shotgun spread double wing style. That it was like, I know when we first saw spread, we used to play a Tony Franklin team here, and they were like the original Tony Franklin team. And when we first saw them, they were one of the first teams in a spread, and it was like, okay, we got to get in a 2-6 defense or something crazy. We just ran junk, and they destroyed us. And they were also really, really good. But then, you figure out, okay, it's not some really fanciful, crazy thing, but we thought, they run they run mesh and they run, these different routes and stuff, and they're in the spread. We've got to match them with 9 DBs on the field. And like I said, they ran a Q counter play and they just ran straight ahead, straight at you. And you realize, okay, I got to get, so I think the next season we had like 7 in the box. It was like, all right, trying to solve it.
Yep. Crazy how things come back around. And that's why I believe the 4-2-5 to me is most versatile to be able to base out of. And everybody has their own, everybody has their own opinion, to each his own. And there's not a perfect defense. If it was, hell, we'd all be running it.
Yep.
So, I find personally that I can do more things, whether going in or removing guys out of the box, out of the 4-2-5 base.
Yeah. And it gives you that, when you see those spreads, what they're trying to do now. So when you see a spread, that, okay, if I give you a 5-man box, you're going to run it. If I give you a 6-man box, we're balanced up. And that's what I get with my 4-2-5. If I give you a 7-man box, you're going to try to throw it. And then my job as a coach is to figure out, can you throw it? Can you run it? Or, who do I want to have the ball? Where do I want the ball to be? And then I can, like you said, I can move guys in and out. I can slide linebackers. I can go to cover 0 and get a 7-man box in there and tuck a safety back into the box. I can adapt my 4-2-5 to try to dictate to you exactly what I want to see. And like you said, it's not 4-2-5. I mean, to me, 4-2-5 is a great base. Like I said, I can get into a 3-4. I can get into a 33 using the exact same calls. 4-3 basically becomes 4-2-5 when you transition. The only thing that changes is your coverage. But 4-2-5 to me is a really, really simple foundation. About 70% of our coaches are using 4-2-5 at least as a base. And then a lot of them are packaging it with down the road. So year 1, they might be 4-2-5 cover 3, cover 1 for the spread teams. And then year 2, they might put in split field coverages, maybe dabble with a change up front. And then year 3, okay, now everyone on staff understands the defense. Everyone on staff knows what we need to do. Okay, we're playing, we've got spread teams on schedule. So we're going to be able to get into our split field coverage package. And we're going to be able to get into our 3-4 front. Or I got a double wing, and we're going to be getting what we call charger and bolt fronts. I'm going to be able to get into a 5-2 look. I'm going to be able to get into it's a weird little thing we got from Rick Stewart with he's like a nose, but he's 2 yards off the ball playing like a flex player that we use for double wing. So like as you progress, you can start to package those things in. For us, the double wing thing had to go in day 1. We saw 4 double wings in a season.
Right. And that's kind of where we are, like with Flexbone. To me, Flexbone is if you have a system that can run it efficiently, whether they're in the short pistol or under center, it makes you be so fundamentally sound. And so that's something that we have to start working day 1, because we're going to see Flexbone where we're at. There's a few teams that run it pretty good, one in particular. And so, we have to add the bullets to the gun. Like we tell the guys, we're not, just like you say, I'm not going to run all this, but the bullet has to be there when the time comes. Coach, do you have a bunch of questions about Flexbone? Do you have any guys that, are you getting that a lot through email or questions or whatnot?
I'll tell you what we've been seeing. I'd say a year or 2 ago, maybe 2 years ago, we were seeing more and more Flexbone. I would say 5 years ago, it was all spread. It was a very, very heavy spread. A couple years ago, we saw more Flexbone. I'll tell you what we get now. The bulk of our questions, the bulk of our, we have our Chalk Talks, our private Q&As that I do with our members. We've got one tonight, and I think we've got a question on defending a tight end wing, like in a wing, in a wing T 100-900 formation. We've got a question on defending 2 tight ends. Last week we had questions on straight T. I've seen more straight T, dead T with T formation in the last year than I did in the first 15 years that I was coaching. We're seeing straight T come back. So that's the evolution. Like you said, it seems like we're coming back, and then we get questions on RPOs. The Flexbone, I don't see as much.
Okay. Well, Coach, man, I tell you what, I really enjoyed this, and I appreciate your time and we'd love to have you back another time. I personally, I think I'm going to have to get in with you and you and I become a member and join in on some of those talks, those chalk talks that you're having this evening.
Yeah, I'd love to have you. Love to have you. So, like I said, JDFB Coaching Systems is our Joe Daniel Football is the website. JDFB Coaching Systems, we do 4-2-5, 33 stack, 3-4, 4-3, and then the pistol power offense system, which is kind of like the defense. I mean, really, there's an offense and a defense. That's basically what it comes down to. We can do anything out of them, and it's all in that core philosophy of coach simple, play fast, win. And then just working with coaches. I think we do things that other people don't. I try to be as involved as I can. I think, one of my goals is to be like an assistant coach on your staff. An extra set of eyes. I do film breakdown for coaches during the season. Just, whatever we can do to try to make teams a little better, make teams advance coaching a little bit. I know that there's a ton of coaches out there who you got some great guys on your staff. We know the best teams have got the staff that's been together for 15 years. There's also a lot of coaches who got some great guys around you, but they're not football, they're not 20-year career football coaches. So any help that you can get as a head coach or a coordinator is important. And we try to give that as much as we can.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we appreciate you and everything that you do for the game of football.
Thank you, Coach.
Uh-huh.